Alright guys, so what we got going on today, I'm doing a project on my whip. Excuse my car, I know it's dirty, but working on my car today, man. Got a little project, just some lights, but show y'all what I got. Just kind of give you the scoop on the whip. It's a 2016 Volkswagen Passat, 1.8T, but it's the R-line joint. See that? Yeah. But yeah, man, my car is dirty. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this project done so I could clean it up. And I found some tire shine in my truck, so I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna probably give you all a view of what it looked like at the nighttime. But yeah, we're working on a little something. What I got going on right now, the materials for the day. Got my little setup right here. So pretty much what we're working with is I'm throwing these lights on. Some little LED joints, nothing crazy. See if I can hit the button at the same time. Alright. You know what I mean? So it's a true LED, kind of goes with the true white color bulbs I got in the headlights. But these is gonna be kind of a play of a fog light slash extra headlight. I don't know how to explain it. Just some shit I like. Fuck it. But what I got going on is I'm throwing those in, and where they're gonna go, obviously front bumper. Excuse the stain. Float of water in the fucking grass, it just causes yellow stains on your car. It's crazy. But anyways, you see that spot? I've already marked one just to see if the drill bit would actually work, because I'm doing a little something right here. Gotta work with what I got. You know, so I drilled a hole just to see if the bit would actually go through the plastic, which obviously it would, but I just want to make sure it wouldn't slip through the gun. So that's where I'm putting the LEDs. Right there in that little spot. It's so disguised in that little section that I feel like it'd be a good place to hide the bulb. It's black too, so that's the big thing about it. It's a black casing, and then it just got the LED bulb right in the center, you know. And then just, since it's gonna be tucked in that spot, you're barely gonna be able to see the bulb anyways until I turn it on. So, you know, I feel like it's a good little disguise lighting that I could put on the car. Because I've been looking and trying to place some type of extra light on the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to put another light on the car, and I couldn't really pinpoint it. I've seen a lot of people take the R lines, and that's what makes it so difficult. Is the R line. You buy the SE versions or the SELs, they have, you know, a fog light right here, or at least the casing for it to where you can swap it if you need to. This one, since it's an R line, excuse my mark, since it's the R line, you know, it's got this funky little fang design going on right here. So I like it, but no fog light house or housing, you know what I'm saying? So you can't really do it. You gotta kind of figure out your own way to market it. And I've seen people do like a LED strip right here, LED strip up here, or something like that. But I don't really like that. I've seen people do it before, and it's cool, but and I try to be different. So this one's a little more disguised. I feel like once I put the splitter on the front, or the lip on the front, it'll make it look a lot better. You know, just with the lights kind of being more of a surprise feature and not more of like a hey, I'm here kind of thing. But yeah, man, so going back to the materials, right? I got a couple different options because I don't know what I really want to go with, but I gave myself opportunity and room for anything just in case. And I'm working with bare minimum too. These are not crazy tools, something honestly kind of more on the basic side. This is kind of like your most complicated tool to use in this whole process. More of this stuff is just methods and ways on how you can get through the work. But we'll start with working with this, right? Since I talked about it, got a basic drill gun, and like I said, the reason why I'm working with what I got is because technically the bit that goes here does not go with this gun. It's a rounded bit, and this drill is not necessarily for that. It's a hex drill, and I'm just making it work with what I got because who cares? It's just plastic. It's gonna go through. So I'm working with that. The size of this drill bit is pretty much what we got. A 1/4 drill bit. It's smaller than the actual drill, the hole, or the hole that I'll need for the lights. The actual bolt and screw is a lot. It's I'd say it's about 5/16, maybe a little bigger, but I'm just gonna have to max it out with the 1/4 and spread the hole a little bigger to make it fit. Because that's the only one that can actually fit inside of the hole for this. That's why I'm saying I'm working with what I can. The other tool that's going to be kind of a main source is going to be your T25. You're going to need a T25 screwdriver or whatever. You can have a drill gun on that too. This might be easier, honestly, just because it's more handheld, smaller. But I'm using a T25. And the reason why you're going to need this is to possibly get to the entire housing or just space area behind the bumper in front of the passenger and driver's wheel. And what I mean by that is you got your fender bolts or fender screws. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, and then there's one underneath at the bottom. You gotta take those 4 out, and the reason why I'm saying this is because the process that I'm gonna take is what I plan on doing is I'll go behind here to feed the wire to the headlight, and also to put the back bolt onto the screw once I place the light into the hole. So I'll drill the hole first, put the screw bolt in, and then I'll, tighten it at the back end once I have the fender open. It'll make sense once you see it. So take that off, feed back here to get to the actual light where the wire will be. It'll run up here to the headlight. That way you don't have a lot of extra wiring that you don't need. It's just more opportunity and just air for shortages, stuff like that. So another thing that I'm gonna do is obviously try to secure the wire with some type of zip tie, maybe electrical tape. You're gonna need to splice or cut the wire, maybe even just somehow adhere the LED wires to the headlight wires. So this will probably come in handy. Some electrical tape. I got some splicers as well. These are just standard. You just crush them. These are not the shrink options, but that I have them, like I said, just opportunity for anything, but I probably won't use them. I don't know. Silicone or sealant, that's what I'm using for the actual hole of the LED. Once I put the hole in and I pretty much got a good space where I can feed it through, I'll use this to kind of secure it, make it more weatherproof, put it on the back of the bolt area, so that way on the inside behind the bumper you can have more of a secure area. It just adds more durability for you on your side. So yeah, you got some of that stuff. Another thing that I'm probably gonna need obviously is a flashlight, just as you're behind the bumper. Possibly a rag, some gloves. Gotta stay clean, or as clean as possible. Dirty jobs. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I got going. The best way to explain the setup for the wires is I'll be connecting the wires to my my low beam. So pretty much what you'll have is, for the headlights, you'll have 2 harnesses, 1 and 2. Now this one I've already split to try to get behind the wires and see what's in there, so I can make sure the color codes are right. So the color codes that you will have for the left and the right headlight, this one will have a, well, for my car at least, a B7 2016 Volkswagen Passat R line, and most R lines, or any B7 pretty much that has these style of a headlight and a sorts. They also have an LED option that'll have additional choices here, so you'll have more wires in those holes, giving you more availability to, you know, use more lights. But these ones are kind of your basic setups. You have a ground wire, which is your brown one. You have a yellow and black for the driver's front, and then you have same thing, a brown wire here for the ground, and then in there you'll have a blue and yellow for the passenger front. And those are my low beam lights. So as I turn my headlights on at nighttime, it'll constantly run with those lights, and that's how I want it. I don't want to have a switch option to where I can turn it off and on like a fog light. I'd rather just, if I have my lights on, I'll have them on for real, then if necessary, use high beams. So I got that going. That's how I'm gonna put them together. Like I said, I'll just probably splice the wire itself and not actually use the connectors I have, those blue connectors. I'll probably just feed the wire to these existing wires, and then you know, just adhere them together. I'm trying to figure that part out as I go, but just kind of giving you more of a detail. Obviously coming up this way is going to be a little difficult. You got too many components down there, but what I'm going to try to do is feed the wire up here of some sorts, but stay away from this belt, you know. Gotta try to stay away from any moving parts with wires. You see more wires on the front end, so I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to any original wires, so they kind of follow the same trail. Or I could possibly go behind the washer fluid. I know behind here, that's your wheel well. So right there, I can actually try to get pretty close. I can actually see some light down there. So I might be able to just feed it there. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. As far as the trace for the wires, it's gonna kind of go as I keep moving through the process. But that's how I'm gonna go through my whole entire setup. 2 LEDs in the front bumper. You need a T25 screwdriver or drill. You're gonna need a drill bit to put the holes, obviously your LED lights, and then some of your accessory stuff. As I get through the process, I'll kind of record where I'm at. I don't really have the best way to record as I'm going, but you'll see. I'll kind of give you guys updates and we'll go from there. Oh, another thing that I forgot, just to kind of help out with what I'm doing, I may possibly jack up the car just to give me more play and more area space. Another thing that you'll probably have to do is turn the wheel. I have 20s and some pretty chunky tires that honestly rub. Not a good thing, but who cares? So for me, I don't have much space. I should probably take the wheel off, but I'm not going to. So yeah, another thing that I'm gonna do, like I said, is probably jack it up to give me more play area in here. You know, so that way I can just be able to feed the wire a lot easier. But another thing that will probably help you, depending on how you choose to do it, is I'm gonna use a hanger to also help feed the wire. So I'm gonna rebend it so that way it kind of creates a good shape to follow the body, and use electrical tape to tape it to the hanger and tape the wires and the hangers together, and then feed it through. That way I don't have to worry about using a flimsy, flexible, honestly frustrating process with the wires by itself. I'll use the hanger to make it a lot easier, and I'll walk you guys through that as I do it. But that's another you know, piece of the puzzle that you'll probably need to do. You know, I'm just adding more materials as I go, but as I said, possible jack, and obviously the hanger will come in handy. Once again, depending on how I feed the wire, but that's gonna be a key. So yeah, man, that's the additional stuff. I've worked on turning the wheel. So my first step of what I'm gonna do is honestly in the mix of taking these screws off, because I've already done it this morning just to check and make sure that anything behind this is clear, and it is. I can pretty much reach my hand right through. The only thing is getting there because my tire is so close. But you know, once I get my hand in there, I can probably get to the bolt to screw those on and make it more secure. If not, then I'll just use an extension tomorrow while I'm at work. Use an extension with the socket to get the bolt on there pretty easily. But I'm gonna try to do it by my hand first and see what happens. Because if I, we'll see. Anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna take these off, drill the holes, and then give you guys an update of how it looks and how it seems, and then we'll go from there. Fun to try to trace. All right. Am I like the only person? Well, I know I'm not the only person, but who else out there is one of those people that kind of don't mind doing that shit? For me, I feel like it's almost like therapy or something. So when you buy the LEDs, obviously they give you a test option. They have this connector on here, so you gotta strip that off. And always remember, obviously you have a negative and a positive for each wire. So it splits into 4 for a reason. Obviously you have 2 bulbs, but you have to have a ground. And I think I'm just gonna have to cut this off. Gloves, safety first. I don't have actual tech gloves. I gotta clean my shoes after this. I don't have actual tech gloves. But these will work. So it's just my neighbor. Yeah, I already made the hole. Hole's pretty much there already. I don't know if it's big enough, so before I max it out anymore, I'm gonna test it. So that's why I'm taking the wires apart. So take the wires apart, check and see if the hole's big enough. You want to make sure that it's kind of perfect if you can, just because if you make it too big, it'll cause the light to possibly fall out or jiggle as you hit bumps. Another reason why I'm putting silicone is to add more security, so that's another thing. But knife, like I said, just has 4 initial connectors for the left and the right, and your ground and your live wires. I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to do it, but that's how I'm gonna do it. Just get rid of that, you don't need it. Okay, so apparently a knife is another tool you need. So we'll start with just one. Save the other one for later. Take the bolt off. Gotta make sure you take the bolt off because it won't go through the hole. You don't want the size of the hole to be the size of the bolt. You want it to be the size of the screw. Alright, so you start with the wire first. Now, for this reason, since I'm taking it back out, most likely, because I don't think the hole's big enough, I'm not gonna attach the hanger yet. But when I'm committed to the hole, I'm gonna connect it to the wire. That way I can feed it through the bumper. And I'll also take off the screw so I can expose that and show you guys how I plan on getting to the top. So, just for shits and giggles, because obviously you don't want to try and do it like this, where it's the wire and the screw, because that's not a perfect fit. It'll cause too much. So you can't do that. Do the wire first, so that way it feeds through. Don't worry about where it goes for now. I don't know if it's the best angle for you guys to see it, but you know, hole is not big enough, but it's pretty close. So it doesn't quite fit. And you want it to slide it. Honestly, if you could get it to screw in there, because mine's is set up as a screw bolt. So I don't know how your fog lights or when anyone's fog light's gonna be, but for these ones, technically, I can screw it in there. And that's how I want to get it. Initially, enough to kind of screw it in there, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah, I gotta keep working on the hole. Now, the drill initially did stop spinning. Look. But I got it to work again. And now the hole's already created. So now just gliding along the edges to make the hole bigger is a lot easier now. I'm gonna stop there. I feel like that's enough. Try it again. There, got a little more work to do.
Almost there, man. Still getting caught right here.
To be honest, guys, you don't know how bad this is like killing me, because I'm at work, I'm working on cars. I like to have headphones on and listen to music. I have my headphones in, but obviously playing the video. Gotta stay dedicated. All right, you saw that? It went through. Now, you see how I really don't even need silicone now. And see how that's like almost, that's so perfect. I like that a lot. Perfectly in the hole, uniquely disguised. Of course you see it, but whatever. You see fog lights on any car, pretty much, unless you tint them. And I can obviously put a little film of tint on it to black it out if I need to. But why? I'm not gonna do that. Now, honestly, since my rims, low key, I'm gonna change these. But for now, just speaking, you know, they're like a copper orange color. Kind of goes with the signal lights or the you know, this lights up orange and that lights up orange. And then when you turn the lights on, it kind of makes the whole synchrony of the wheels go together. So if this was honestly the same color, that'd be great. But naturally, when you turn them on, they're white, they're true white, like the headlights. So who cares? And then, like I said, even from like the side view, you see yellow, but not really. It's so I like it. Who cares if you don't? So that works, but I don't want it in there yet. Now I gotta find a way to get it out.
Let's see what I use. Maybe a wrench. That ain't work. Grab it, pull it. Ooh! Or scratch it. Yeah, just scratch the hell out of it, man. Oh, I did it again. Okay, this might not be the smartest method then, but I'm already in it. There we go. Alright, I won't do that again.
But you see how the whole, it's so much of a fight for me to even get it out that I feel like I did a really good job. Small scratches. Can you see that? Yeah. But anything, I'll touch it up with some black paint for all I care. But you won't see that. Okay. So the hole's good. Now I'm gonna work on possibly, I'm just gonna jack it to make it easier, man. I'll just give myself some more space. I don't wanna put myself in a tight spot. So I'm gonna jack it, open the side up, and then show you guys what's up. So I've got the wheel turned. I got it jacked. Just for safety reasons, gotta put your emergency brake on, something behind the wheel so the car doesn't move. Like I said, safety first, man. Yeah, you can see where my tire rubs. Who cares, bro? It looks good. Alright, man. It's jacked. I figured I'll show you where the screws are now that we have a better point of view. Like I said, you got 4, or at least I'm gonna take out 4. There's only 4, honestly, in the front end. You got some in the back and on the top, but like I said, 1 T25, 2, 3, and if you can see, I can't see what you can see, but I took it off earlier, right there. Now see, like I said, jacking it up just gives me more room under here to kind of work with. You hear that? All that dirt that's in there, I'm gonna clean it out too. But yeah, it just gives me more room to play with underneath, just in case if I gotta get my head and stuff under there to kind of feed the hanger and the wire. I might possibly take off what's underneath here too, but I know Volkswagens are complicated and they have a bunch of bolts underneath for this oil pan. So I kind of don't want to touch that part. But yeah, when you peel this off, you're gonna want to just use your finger, be careful. See in there? So that light area that you see that's kind of gleaming through, that's actually where the hole is. So you got the 3 slits where the fangs are, and then that top little kind of like circle light, that's where my drill hole is. So yeah, we did that, man. Like I said, I'm gonna clean all this stuff. I don't even smoke cigarettes. Why is there a cigarette butt in my car? Yeah, so I'm gonna try to, the same way you saw me do before, where I put the wire in, but now this time it's gonna be with the hanger. And when I do that, I'm gonna bring the hanger in this direction to feed it north to the headlight. And you see up there in that area, that's where I was saying you can see the wheel well with the reservoir for your washer fluid. So I'll show you how I connect the wire to the hanger. Like I said, I still haven't really navigated or mapped out exactly which direction I'm taking, but since I see light on both ends, I feel like that's the easiest way to go. I don't think that naturally follows the other wires. So my game plan for securing the wire and making sure it's insulated is going to change a little bit. If anything, I'll wrap the wire itself before I install it. I'll take the wire and wrap it with tape to keep it insulated more than what this does. But I'm not really thinking about that yet.
So right now, like I said, I don't have it navigated, so I'm just straightening out the hanger. Not that easy to do with cotton gloves on. And see, now, these are actually winter gloves, I think. But they have little grips and shit on it, so it kind of helps out when I'm working with tools. And I said, screw it, I'm not gonna buy some techie gloves. Use these, just wash them. So pretty much straight as I need it to be. I don't know if you can see that, but it's straight. I'm just making it go across the camera, you know, if you can see it.
Take the tape, you take the busy end of the wire, and connect these bitches. So you see that? I can feed it through and won't lose the wire in the process. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out the navigation for it, and then I'll show you what I come up with. I'm not gonna embarrass myself and try to plan it out on camera. So, didn't take me that long to figure it out. I haven't committed yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm good. I've already fed the wire through, but I haven't added. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little dab of silicone on the outer side of, like in between where the spirals of the screw and then the head of the bolt actually is. So right there between that seam, I'm gonna put some silicone there, so as I press, it'll add to the face of the bumper, and then I'll also get some more on the other end with the bolt, just so that way it's on both sides. But I'm not gonna put too much over here, just enough to kind of, as I press, it'll spread and expand with the bolt and add some more surface area. So what I've done is I fed the hanger first. So you take the hanger, feed the hanger first, let the wire travel with it, and then feed the bulb all the way through, so that way you can stage it. And then what I've done is since I straightened out the hanger perfectly straight almost, I just used that angle first before I bent it around. And I just used it to travel straight to the wheel, and I just followed to the wheel well. I just went right through, followed the hanger through, pulled it out of this end all the way out, so that way I can just grab the whole wire, the whole hanger. And then I got the busy end of the wire right here with the tape. So the way that I'm gonna feed mine, it is kind of natural to the wires of the headlight. I might need a flashlight now. Using a phone and a flashlight is gonna be fun. So you got my wire and stuff hanging through there, follows down, and then it comes out here. Obviously, like I said, I gotta clean all that stuff. Now remember I was telling you before, that noise, it's got leaves and stuff in there. So what I did is I went to the front of the washer fluid reservoir, because this is the reservoir there. But up top you'll see the wire follow kind of with these original wires right here, so I can use a zip tie and probably tape it there to secure it once I have a good trace. But I'm gonna make it follow all the way to the top, where I don't see the hanger. And oh, embarrassment. That's why I did it before. Haha. So see, these are the other wires that were at the bottom, right there where I'm flashing the light on. And then this is the hanger coming through. So it naturally follows pretty much everything else. Now your setup is gonna be different for the driver's side, because you got more busy shit over here. You got more of everything pretty much. Wires, hoses, parts. So I'm gonna find that out too. But this is just to kind of give you guys an introduction of how I'm staging everything, getting it put in, doing the installation, wiring, travel, stuff like that. On this side, I'm gonna skip all of that part, but I will show you initially the way I travel the wire through. But I'm gonna try to mimic exactly what I did over there, or as close to it, which I think I can. It'll probably have to feed that way or this way, and this way might be the safest, but I just don't want it too close to the radiator and the fan, for weathering reasons. But obviously if I secure it, tape it to these original wires, you should be fine. So yeah, you know, just trying to give you guys an update on that part. That's how I'm gonna feed the wire. So let me finish feeding it through so I can get to the top. I'll work on the silicone portion at the bottom, and then we'll get to the busy end where I actually connect it, and that'll be somewhat of our, I guess, final step before I put everything back together. Just want to make sure the light works. All right. So where I'm at now is I've got the LED kind of exposed so I can put the silicone there. I've already fed the wire through, so I'm at the top portion of the headlight, so I can get to the busy end of the wire. Just leave the hanger over there for now until I'm ready. Now for this part, like I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna silicone the face side of the bolt or the screw, and then press against the bumper. But before I do that, I want to clean it. So what I have is some more materials that I forgot. I'm just using some all-purpose cleaner. It's the best I got right now in the trunk. And then that handy dandy rag that I told you guys to have that earlier. So let me show you guys. I mean, if you don't know how to prep silicone, you probably shouldn't be doing this whole work. But I got silicone. Put the cap on. Well, there's a seal. So you have the seal breaker on the top of the cap. Use that seal breaker to break the seal on the top of the tube. Put the top on, slice the cap, so now it can actually feed through, and then you begin applying to your surface. I lied, once it's clean. So let's regain focus here. Come on. Jesus. All right. So, all-purpose cleaner.
Move the wire as much as you can. Actually, I'm gonna do this first. Get all those loose fibers and stuff off of there. Gotta have a brush. I'll scratch because I had a boo-boo. Okay. Pretty much clean the fibers off as much as I could. Mostly just raw plastic. And then I'll use some cleaner. Not gonna spray the hole. I'm gonna spray the rag. And then just clean the area necessary. I'm only doing this to provide a better application for the silicone. Because once I get it on, I don't mess with it again. I want to make sure I don't get any shortages, all that. Once it's in there, it's in there. All right.
So gently squeeze the tube, watch it follow through. Let it peek out the head. And just apply to your surface area. You should have cleaned the bolt too, but whatever.
Just add some silicone to the edges. It's kind of hard to do with gloves on. Like I said, not a lot, but just enough to kind of cover that area, so when it touches the bumper, it'll have some sort of seal besides the bolt on the back end. Then I'm getting silicone on the end.
I feel like that's enough. It looks a little messy, but you ain't gonna see it. Just take the bolt, let it feed through. Be careful, you don't want to get the silicone on anything besides what you need it for. And I did the total thing, what I've told you guys not to do. Alright, so boom. bolt in. Just press a little bit, not too hard. All right, so the silicone should be, yeah, it's secured. It feels pretty tight. That'll harden, and it's the one I bought was clear, so I honestly see it, but you don't see it. It's kind of hard to tell because my car's dirty, but yeah. And look how it sits perfectly in that spot and everything, man. Like, it was just meant to be there. I love it. It looks like a sensor in a sense. It looks like a sensor in a sense. But yeah, it looks like a sensor, but it's actually a LED. Let's reverse that. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is feed the bolt back to the screw. So I have the loose bolt. You gotta put it on the end of the hanger, let it follow, travel all the way down. It'll get to the bolt, or at least close to it. And then what I'm gonna try to do is squeeze my arm and my hand in there to tighten it up. I might actually have to take the glove off for this one so I can feel it better. Let me try that and go from there. All right, so good news. I got it to work. So the wire's feeding through the top. Y'all saw that already. I was able to secure the light with the silicone, so that's good. I fed the bolt through, like I said, and I just stuck my arm through this side, and I don't know if you can see it, but I got the bolt on, and I put some silicone on there. Tried the best I could with my arm reaching through the silicone tube. So it's probably a sloppy silicone job, but it'll do. I mean, I don't need it that much. It's just more for the security of the bolt and to provide somewhat of a weathering application on it. You know, it's the inside. It's not that bad. So yeah, that worked. I was able to feed that through and get the bolt on there by hand. Now, if you really want to, I trust my hand for the most part. Obviously, tools are more powerful. If you want to try to get back there with a bolt, with a socket or a wrench or something and tighten it up there, you can try that. I'm not. It's on there tight enough. Like I said, I have two contact points for silicone, inner and outside. And like I said, I tighten that thing pretty well with my hand. It's not coming off. Especially once that silicone dries and solidifies, it's not going to allow the bolt to even really move unless you peel it or somehow get the silicone off of there. So more is just for finding some secure spots to attach the wire without it just hanging freely. So I'm going to throw some zip ties in there, and then I'll work on the top part as far as connecting the ground and the power wire. See it? You can barely even see it, but you see it. And I don't care that you see it. You're gonna see it. But it don't really bother me, especially when I turn them on, because looking from the front, it just looks like a crystal or something sitting there. Okay, so I just wanted to keep you guys updated so I don't lose you. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do the old-fashioned way of getting into the wires. This is just the way, honestly, my father taught me how to do it when I used to put speakers and stuff in my car. And it's just a very original way of how to get into a wire, so that way I can connect it, because I honestly just don't want to cut the wire and then use those split connectors or those splicers to actually do the whole assembly. I think breaking that original connection will initially give me less room to play with as far as the length, because I'll have to, I guess, I make up for it, or just consider the fact that, okay, I've cut the wire, so I have to make an adjustment to keep the wire with a good length on it. So whatever I just said, whatever. This part is what's more important. What I'm doing to connect the wire is I already did the ground to show you an example. and I'm not using nothing technical like a tool. It's just a knife. What I do is I cut 2 portions, just a section of the wire out, 1 and 2. So I cut pretty much like a circle going around. You'll see it with the power wire. I'll cut 2 circles where I want to guide the length of the connection. So this is enough area space for me to put the wire on, secure the connection, and put them back together type thing. So I take those two initial circles, and then I split it right down the middle like a banana or whatever the case is, and I just I take the wire pieces apart from that point. So if you see, just do one of these where it pulls a plastic protection off. So now that's gone, I don't need it anymore. And then that's how I'm gonna put my connection. Now everybody has their own method. This is just the one that seems most consistent, easy. I'm not altering the wires that are there. I'm just adding additional wires to what I have. And this is what best suits me and how I get it done. So at that point where we're at with the busy end is I'm gonna disconnect this whole gadget and connect those wires. See if I get some play. Put the hanger aside for a second. Focus on what you gotta get done. You got the 2 wires. Now what I did not even check is which one is ground and which one is power. But I don't necessarily think that matters. But I'm gonna say the black I'm gonna say the black wire is a ground. I'm gonna say the one with the white is most likely a powered. Just using previous experience, stuff I know. So that's how we're gonna do it. Hopefully it works. And I don't have it reversed. Now this is the black wire. Now I'm gonna connect this to the ground. So pretty much I just take the wire, take the new wire, and honestly just, now you could try to spread and braid or kind of just twine them together, but I don't think I'm gonna get that much play out of this ground wire, so I'm just gonna do the wrapping method, make it easier for myself. But I did cut enough length of rubber off of the LED wire, so that way you see all that extra room I have to play, I get to wrap it a couple times instead of just once. So you'll do that.
Yeah, I really want to take this glove off, but I'm not going to. Okay. See? This is why.
Now, one feedback for me is I've seen people do this online, and some people disconnect their battery to their car. I don't know if that's totally necessary. If you're wondering if I did, obviously the answer is probably no. But if I fried everything by doing this, it was worth it. But I think I'm good. So you see, I've worked the wire a little bit to where I got it wrapped. It's a pretty clean wrap, gotta say so myself. So that's a good connection there. I'll tape it together, and then you can honestly put silicone on that too, but I don't think I will.
Like I said, this is just a method that I've used over time, and it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I believe in. Well, I gotta say, it's kind of false. Depends on what's broken, or what's about to break. Might need to fix it before you break it. But I'm talking about this good old method right here. It works for me. So I'm not gonna change it. I took the gloves off. They were helpful. especially when you're feeding the wire and stuff with the hangers up. It's just going to get in the way when I do this wire. I want to make sure I have a good connection. Well, the taping job is not the best, but we're going to fix it. What I try to do is when I'm doing it, no, you can't see nothing I'm doing. What I try to do while I'm applying the tape is I stretch it a little bit to just add some grip. And this gives more of like a vacuum kind of suction to the tape. I don't know how to explain it, but it just makes it a lot tighter. Gives you more coverage. So, I'm stretching as I apply. And like I said, I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but I'll show you what I'm doing. Angle sucks. Now, I don't need too much tape, but I don't need all of this. But it's on there good. It's on there really good. Really, really good. Almost done.
So I've got it on there. Just kind of forming the tape so that way it sits a little better on the wire. I don't really want to have any too many gaps or airways. Allows it to dry and spread and honestly detach.
So I got the ground wire connected. Now it's time to work on the power wire. So I'll do the same thing. Kind of just take off a piece of the rubber off the wire and attach it to the that would be the low beam wire. Yeah, I know, it's kind of dangerous what I just did, but I don't know if you saw it. Just trying to use my finger to press down on the wire to get the rubber off, but I got it. Alright, so, I think I need a little more, honestly. That's enough, but I want a good connection.
Now you see what I'm doing? That tension on that tape, it creates such a better seal on the tape. And I'm really just not even trying. I'm just half-assing it right now. But you could honestly make it more perfect. But the reason why I'm not stressing this part of it, because this is just to get what I gotta get going, you know? So we're good now. Now what I'm gonna do, save some of this wire. Just honestly just tangle it up with this one.
Then I'll add some more tape to go around all of this. So you'll see it's honestly kind of secured with layers. And like that. And then I'll probably zip tie it too, just to keep that bundle together. Now this one I'm going to use quite a bit of tape because I'm going to cover any of the removed tape that I took off from the original. Try to get it all the way up here, at the top. Shit, still need more tape than that too. But it'll essentially look like that. But just with more tape on it. Alright, so. Probably don't need to see this part. Just the final product, but.
There we go. So we got everything connected. Now, obviously, it's not plugged up, so I can't test it yet, but I'm gonna test it and let you guys know what happens. Wish me luck. I'm excited. So, gotta put this wire in a better way. Kind of follow the original path. I just want to see if it works. Put the connector back on. So now you see it's pretty much secured all the way up here. There's no open wires up at this top portion. Remember, I'm down in the center. So I've got all this clearance to really protect myself at the top and the bottom. And that's a pretty good connection right there anyways. Like I said, I kind of half-assed the strength of the tape and the two individual wires, the ground and the power. But overall, this is what really matters to give you that full coverage. Because this is where you get a lot of your weather conditionings. Let me turn my lights on and see what happens. Lights. It works. It works. Yeah. Alright, so I did something right. And like I said, it's so subtle. You don't even really pay attention to it. Now, one thing I would say is I do wish that this was a little more facing forward. But overall, I like it. It's so simple. It really doesn't even do nothing besides another illumination. It's gonna look better in the nighttime, I promise. So we got one working. Let's just do the next one, and then we'll put it back together. Before I put everything back together, made a little progress after we figured out that it works. I put some zip ties on the cords or the wires or whatever. So I got 3 at the top portion, 1 at the top of the tape, 1 at the bottom of the tape, just giving me more security at the ends. Also, just because it's there are loose wires down here that's no longer taped, so I just zip tied it here just to give me that one extra, contact point. And then down here I put 2 more. These down here are more for like honestly just the wire moving, because one thing I didn't really consider, because I didn't know what was on the back end of the bumper, I didn't know those channels were there for the airflow, for the little fang pieces. Cool, but didn't realize that. So I thought about it as I was putting this stuff back together. I was like, hey, when I'm traveling, it'll cause a good gush of air to blow through here. So I'm like, obviously the wire is kind of in an empty space by itself and it's exposed. So one, water, but mostly just pressure and movement from the wind. I don't want that alone to cause this wire to just go crazy in here and just be shaking and vibrating throughout this little box area. So I did add 2. I'll show you where I put them. You can kind of see I wanted to follow the line of the bumper to initially block out some of that wind that comes in. My flashlight dull, man. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, my flashlight's dying, y'all. Alright, so fuck the flashlight. anyways, I'm gonna try to point to it as best as I can like this. So yeah, you got the wire traveling along the face of the bumper to go to that white portion, this white little panel that connects the rest of the things. That's actually metal, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's metal. So I had the wire follow the bumper to block out some of that wind that travels throughout those two bottom channels, because those are the bigger channels and that's just going to cause mad air to come through. So I wanted to block that as much as I could, so it follows the face of the bumper and then just travels through this little section to get to the other zip tie. So you got one zip tie here that's connected to the other hoses that go down and wires right here, and then you got one zip tie up there to connect to the actual frame of the body or whatever. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you got those on that side. What I'm gonna do now is honestly just put the screws back on. I'm gonna put the screws back on here, drop the car, turn the wheel the other way, work on the other side. Once I'm working through the process, if I get to the point where the channel of the wire is different, I'll just show you that part like I said, so that way you get to see how I made it. And then yeah, make sure that the second one's connected, and then we'll get you some footage of how it looks later with the nighttime view. Okay, so I've gotten to this point where you've seen this spot before, where I haven't committed, but I'm just finding the trail. So I'm all jacked up, wheel wells off, line is through, just finding the best channel to go is my next route. See some light up there. What is this behind here? Oh, okay. Where does that lead me? Okay, so I seen this red piece from underneath, so I'm honestly just gonna feed it right there, and then it'll just come up through this way. Because I don't want to go that way. That way there's other cords. Technically the head unit, the light unit, the wires will go down this way, but I guess I won't be following the initial wires for the headline, the headlight. I think I'm just gonna take its own path because it doesn't really need that much. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, man. Same process pretty much. It's just a slightly different routed process for the wire, but for the most part it's the same. It's just you got more components over here, but I'm gonna feed it through. I guess you guys can watch or something.
Did I see that? Yep, I see it. Through the camera. So to speed this up, I want to try to clean as far over as possible at least. I'll feed it in this direction. Bring the wire back down a little bit. So as you see, I'm feeding it to go towards that side of the wires. So just bring it down a little bit.
I did that same process with the other side. It's kind of like a little box at the base of the head unit. So I'm wrapping it underneath the box, just because on that side that's how it was initially. You see it's under, like goes around and under the box in a sense. Not necessarily, but it does. It was like this. I guess it's just too bulky now with the wires reattached, but like I said, try to keep it as uniform as possible on both sides, mirror each effect, but that's what I'll be doing for this side. So I'm just gonna pull that up.
So, got the wire, or the hanger. Just gonna feed it all the way up. Just start at the bottom. Okay. So yeah, man, really, it wasn't much different than the other side. It's a slightly different path. I'll go ahead and splice the wires if you want to wax, you can do that too.
And this side, I haven't done the silicone and anything yet, so obviously still working backwards. The first one, or the first attempt, I secured it. Second attempt, not secured. Does that make sense? Not all the time, but I'm glad the first try worked. I mean, it's not that hard, it's just a headlight, but you never know. Gotta be open for anything to go crazy. Oh, my bad. What I did on the last one, if I didn't show that, there's a clip here for the head unit, or the harness for the head unit. So there's a little clip right here. You hit the clip, this pulls out. It's pretty easy. Just gotta get a good grip on it. There you go. Boom. Harness for your headlights. Okay. So, okay, I guess, yeah, I didn't really show you how I do the technique, so for anybody who wants to learn, you just pretty much measure where you want to get to. So you got here, I'll go about here, and about here. So I'll just mark them first, and then I'll try my best to make room and separate the wire from the other ones, so I'm not affecting any other wire. See that? Kind of separated. So I'll just start with like a little incision, kind of just work it until I feel it. If you know what you're doing, you'll feel the wire as you make movement. You don't want to cut too deep into the wire, because obviously it's a wire. My process is that I don't want to cut through the wire. I want to save the original connection as much as possible. So you feel for that if you know how. So if you see, I cut one side and then I slowly work the other side, so that way I have splits on both sides, and then that way it'll detach a lot easier. Gotta find the cut for this other one. All right, where'd I put it? Okay. Of course, I'm being dangerous. I didn't separate it, just cutting. But okay, so once you have those two kind of lines created, then you can take the tip of the knife or razor, whatever you're using, and you see how I just kind of peeled it off. Initially I just lifted the insulation, and then that'll give you a little gap where you can just guide it down until you get to that second cut. But I can't even see my second damn cut, so I'm over here guessing. I want to see it now. Okay. She's out. Okay, so if you can see, there's like 2 little hairs that I did actually snip. That's kind of just, like I said, if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. I cut a little too much, but that's not it's not a big boo-boo. It's more or less just I decreased the connection, but it's just a ground wire. It'll do its job.
So, got that in there. That's my first gap. Second gap, like I said, just create your 2 incisions. And then you just split them. But once again, try not to touch the wires because it's a ground and a power wire. At the end of the day, just for any reason you don't want to fry anything you got going on. So, I think I got a good clean cut on this one. I gotta say, this side is a little tighter, of course, but you know what? It's the freaking air filter box. That's what it is. That's what's causing a lot of this chaos right now. If that wasn't there, I'd have more space to play with. Because that's honestly what's not on the other side. But let me, just use my fingers. This is a little tricky. Trying to avoid connecting the 2 wires and then peeling this little thing. Gets to be a bitch. Because on the other side as well, the harness kind of has more length. At least to me it seems like it did. So it was also easier because with more length, you have more room to play with on the wire, not just the space, workspace. Alright, so that's that.
I kind of already showed you guys the putting together part of it. So let me go ahead and throw this together. I'll quickly put it together, put the silicone on, bolt it up. Pretty much just finish the job from here. And then when I'm done, just at the second, I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like with the final product finished, and then you'll get a nighttime view later, once the sun goes down. But for right now, it's still pretty much midday, 4 or 5 o'clock, I think. I don't know. So you still got a while before the sun really goes down, but I want to work quick anyways because it is daylight savings, and sun goes down super early. I start losing sunlight around like 4, around this time. Honestly, 5, 6. There's so many leaves. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and connect those, make sure it works. Put everything back together, and boom. All right. Mission complete. I haven't really put everything back together and all that stuff yet, but it works. I've got the wires on. Just gonna add some zip ties here, some zip ties at the bottom, but it works. Just have to secure it. I did this one because right now it's just hanging there. So both fogs work, or headlamps, LED lamps, accessory lamps, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, but they both work. I like the color tone. It's not 100%. I mean, if you really want to be picky, it's not 100%, and I know why. Honestly, it's gonna change it once I put in LED lights. I don't have LED lights on right now. What I have in there is just a true white regular bulb. I think it's a H7 or H9, whatever the case is, but for the headlights, I just changed the tone of the color. I didn't change to a LED light. These are true LEDs, so it's a true white, but the white is just a little more vibrant. But honestly, I've seen people try to match them up before, and it doesn't look as well as this does. So I'm pleased. I honestly probably won't change those until they die. So I'm good, man. I got them all on, and about to put it back together, and I'm gonna show you once I drop the car and everything like that. But we good, man. I'm excited. I'm proud of myself too. So yeah, man, let's keep working. All right, so that's done. It's back on the ground. Yep, jack is gone. As you can see, just running back through materials one more time. I used a 1/4 drill on a drill gun, make the holes. I used some electrical tape to make some secure spots on the wires. Same thing for some silicone for the housing of the LED light, or the hole of the LED light, and the wires as well. I use zip ties just to secure the lines of the wires to existing lines. Never even use these, so you know, I don't know if that's your preference, but me personally, I didn't use them. So depending on your project, if you want to use them, you can, but I ended up washing those out because I just feel like my method is a little more simple and a little easier. So that involves you know, actually cutting the wire into two and then trying to do a reattachment process with that, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, everything's good. As far as the silicone work and all that stuff, it's all been done. So it's in there, it's secured. If you look at it straight on, it's centered, just like this one. Look at it straight on, it's centered right in the middle of the I kind of just use the chrome lines as indicators to show that it was straight on. So I'm good on that. Start it up and see what it look like. All right, lights are on. Second notch, got some power. All right. So as we stand back, we see the true light. Let there be light. All right. So yeah, success. I like it. I honestly think it looks better in person. This camera really doesn't do much work for it, but side view. Yeah, it look good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an outro part of it. You get to see it at nighttime. Right now you get to see a little bit of brightness from it, but it'll really give a full effect when the sun goes down. Cause I was debating too, like, should I go bigger or brighter or whatever, and I'm like, you know what, these fit perfectly inside those little spots, and I'm satisfied. Like I said, man, I'm proud of myself. This look a little funky because I zip tied it 3 times, but well, it's 4 times up here, 3 times up here. This tape job was just a little cleaner, but that one's got a bulky knot on there, so I used 2 for the top. But yeah, so fed it right through, almost near the washer on the passenger side. On the driver's side, I pretty much fed it through. I'm thinking that's a accessory line or power line for the battery, or I don't know, but there's a major cord that goes through there, so I just use the sunlight to kind of locate where that red circle's coming from. Fed the wire there, and it's kind of on this side though. As you guys can see, I tried to keep it uniform with the 2 boxes on the headlights. So finished product, man. Look good. I like it. It's different. It's not like what everybody else does, and like I said, it's small, but to me it's that extra little touch to the front end. And then like I said, once I put my splitter on the front, it's gonna look crazy. So yeah, man, stay tuned for the night view, you know, and I might take some shots and throw them on Instagram and stuff like that. Y'all go follow my page, Sneaker Guy Clean, PBFJ. That's my personal page. That's where I post my car all the time, so that's where y'all gonna see this. Sneaker Guy Clean is where I do all of my customs for my shoes and stuff. So man, y'all stay tuned. Y'all can see this night view. Yeah, okay, you see that. So as you can tell, my energy has changed. I'm a little excited right now. but that's because it came out perfectly, man. I'm so stoked for the way that it came out, and I don't even say the word stoked, but I'm just that excited. It looked good. It looked good. Here's my comments, all positive too, for the most part. Great location. I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks. I love that. That's so mean. That's so mean. Wait till I put my lip on it. But yeah. So the dome lights, well, the LEDs are. It's in the shape of a dome. You guys saw that when I did the installation. So the shape of the light, it plays with the color tone of the light. Now, remember how I was saying earlier when I was looking at it, it's not the same exact color, but they're very similar to the headlights. True, but not true. Okay, so since it's a dome and it has that yellow backspace on the light, as you walk around and you move in your position with the car, it changes the tone of the light. Now, standing here, it looks yellow, but when you get down here, it looks white. And then as you kind of just move around, it, like I said, it changes, and it's just gradually different as you move past it. Now, I like that. It's unique. But initially, when you look at it straight on, like I said, it's not exactly the same, but who cares? I don't. It still look really good to me. I probably won't even change my headlights. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure y'all saw that. It came out really good. Now, obviously, the rest of my car needs a wash. I'll probably do a better video, a day and night video of the car cleaned, looking good, tires shining, all of that. But right now, you know, just kind of getting what you get right here. I just wanted to make sure y'all saw it. Like I said, I like it. And believe it or not, I bought these LEDs from O'Reilly's, and they were only 15 bucks. And it took me about maybe 2-3 hours to do the whole installation. And to be honest with you, that's because I took a lot of breaks. I was kind of chilling. If you guys noticed, I have a daughter. She was kind of in the background playing around around the house. My neighbors pulled up a couple times too. So just within me, just within the time of me trying to get footage for you guys, have the video look good and all that stuff, give clear explanations, or at least try to, and just make a quality video, on top of the fact that I was trying to knock it out, not do too much. And like I said, I had already planned this all out. I've been thinking about fog lights for my car for a really long time, and I always debated how I was gonna pull it off, but this is great. I like it. I'm excited. So if you like it, let me know. Stay tuned for what else I got. I'm gonna give you guys a longer video of just the mods and stuff that I've done to the car. Long story short, I have custom wheels that I've done myself, spacers. I did a delete on my exhaust and my resonator. You guys can see I got a bunch of miscellaneous stickers and just crazy stuff on the car that I've done. Little hits like the fender accent, an R-line badge on the back, stuff like that. So I've got some things that I've already done to the car, and my Instagram honestly has a snippet of the exhaust installation. I had that done by G Exhaust. Great people. They're out in Davie, Florida. If you want to get your exhaust done, go there. But yeah, man, I enjoyed this whole thing. I had a lot of fun, and I'm gonna keep this going, man. Like I said, just stay tuned to see what I got coming. What I plan on in the future, I plan on throwing some black accents on the body, adding a spoiler, redoing my tint, eventually changing my wheels again, with tire stickers, front lip, side skirts. I got plans, man, so stay tuned.